Hello, my name is Bob Willis, and welcome to Winnie TV here at SMT Connect. It's day two. Hopefully, we're going to have lots of interesting discussions on process and process issues and hopefully solutions. James, welcome. Thank you very much for taking time out to talk to us. Perhaps you'd like to introduce yourself, your company, and what particular aspect you're looking at the show this week.
Sure, thanks, Paul. Glad to be here again at SMT Connect. I think it's probably about my 10th year being at SMT Connect. And so we're here demonstrating parallel tests. So we do ICT, in-circuit programming, and also some functional tests combined with ICT. So we're talking to customers about their process, as you mentioned, and we're seeing trends for the SMT line is getting faster overall, and boards are getting smaller built-in panels, and the SMT line can produce a 20 up panel at about the same time as a 2 up panel, but traditional tests can't keep up with that. Creates a bottleneck at test.
And I mean, I'm not a testy guy, I'm a production guy, a process guy. And what specifically are customers talking to you about issues, not just throughput issues, but issues of failures or defects they need to find, and how you've adapted to that?
Right. Well, test is an area in the production that it has to be done. In quality operations, they're going to be doing tests, and the issues they're facing is that when the SMT line is faster than tests, they're building up untested inventory, and so it might be 2 to 4 hours, and even sometimes days before they realize they had a mistake in their process. So, detecting that fault earlier is the conversation we're having with customers, and doing the test faster and in parallel is what enables them to keep pace with the SMT line.
And what features do engineers nowadays have to look to adapt for specific test points or test areas on boards? What do they need to understand, and particularly from a design perspective?
Sure, sure. Well, that's a conversation we're having with many customers, where we're talking to the folks that are designing the tests, and specifically the end-of-line test, because traditionally the process is SMT, ICT at the panel level, and maybe ISP at the panel level. Then it goes to end-of-line test, where they're doing it one at a time. And so we've introduced some new capabilities to do some of those functional tests, not to replace the end-of-line functional test, but for tests like LIN and CAN, if they had a 5 second test that they were doing one at a time, and we can do all 20 in 5 seconds, that means they can find the fault earlier, but they also can reduce the number of end-of-line testers, the number of operators. So there's a lot of benefits in the process. So we're always having these process conversations and with the test people.
With your equipment, do you find that it's very simple for people to utilize? Perhaps it's an opportunity for changes in the way in which people test products. Is it a case that improvements in the functional contact with terminations on a printed circuit board has improved throughput as well?
Yeah, we have, I spent the last 2 weeks prior to the show visiting customers all over Europe, and having these kinds of conversations about, really a process conversation, and seeing that the test, the way that they're doing it is not keeping pace. So they're interested in opportunities for improvement. And the industry's kind of in a change mode right now. There's a lot more competition, especially in the automotive space. So they're looking for ways to do things more efficiently, and they're looking for different options that can automate and reduce the cost of test.
Okay. One practical issue do you still face with customers not appreciating they have to do regular maintenance of fixturing? Is that still an issue?
Yeah, with tests, obviously you have test probes, and there's usually a maintenance period that they do on the fixtures. But with our test system, it's simple for them to find any issues in the test fixture or in the test electronics, because we make the test electronics, we make the press, we make the fixture. So we have a lot of diagnostic tools that help them identify, if they're having a problem. Is it a problem with a test probe? Is it a problem with, something in the test electronics, or is it a problem on their board?
So what do you see moving forward? You know, what newer technologies do people need to consider?
Yeah, I think as we move forward in the industry and we're seeing these smaller boards, it's really becoming imperative to look at new ways of doing things. The traditional test methods that have been in the industry and worked well for 30 years cannot keep pace. So doing more in parallel, looking at tests that maybe you're doing at end-of-line tests that you could bring forward, and it's not necessarily to replace that test, end-of-line test, but to identify those faults earlier and maybe some efficiency improvements.
All right, James. Well, thank you very much for stopping on by.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the conversation, and hopefully you'll have a very successful show here at SMT.
Thanks, I hope so. Nice to meet you.